All right, guys, here's the thing. We're dealing with big boys for the next week or two, and this one's from the House of Creed, so hope you brought your bag and your drinks. All right, welcome to the Scent Bubble. I'm your host for the afternoon. We've got a lot of fragrances to roll through, but today we're going to talk about a special one and some critical information that I need to share with you guys before you even think of pulling the trigger on this fragrance. This is from the House of Creed, and grown men talk about this fragrance a lot. The young guys tend to lean towards Aventus, Millésime Imperial, Silver Mountain Water, Virgin Island Water, all that stuff. But this is a big dog in the Creed house. To me personally, when we talk about more gentlemanly fragrances, we're talking about Royal Oud. We're talking about, some different variations of Aventus, sure. Some people start to lean towards Viking. But the one we're going to talk about today anyway is Bois Du Portugal. I love this fragrance. I absolutely love this fragrance. I feel like it is modern fougère, but in the most technical sense of the phrase. It has such a depth and complexity in its classicness, while still bringing this kind of timelessness to the upscale fougère category, and I'm happy to present it to you. This test strip normally would be a hot take, but I don't care because I want it to be a full review. I feel like I thoroughly understand this fragrance because I've been around it more times than just this sample. But this was from Neiman Marcus. I had a big haul there recently, and so I already have my test strip, and this is a dried down test strip because I know I've smelled the opening plenty of times from this as well as some of the clones, but this test strip is probably a couple hours old. Okay, so we have some good dry down take on this fragrance. What do I get from a fragrance like this? I get hybrid upscale modern fougère. It's extremely woody. Okay. It's extremely aromatic. It has some soft touches to it, like some instances of kind of, like tiniest instances of citrus, tiniest instances of spice, tiniest warm-ups of amber. And it's a great fragrance, man. Like it just has such a weight to it while being like kind of in the middle between heavy and soft. It's heavy in its projection, but it's soft in its finesse with the DNA. We're going to switch windows real quick. I don't know why, but for some reason, this fragrance can be hard to acquire sometimes. I've seen it come in and out of the stores online. Let's read a little bit about this fragrance. So this is an oriental woody fragrance. And don't be scared by the word oriental, because for me, there's nothing about it as a 35-year-old man who's kind of cultured up. There's nothing about it to me that screams foreign, if that makes sense. Fougère for sure, but there's no like oriental note to me that like stands out. This fragrance was launched in 1987, so quite a while ago. And the nose behind this is Olivier Creed. Let's go ahead and check the breakdown here. This seems pretty straightforward and simple. Up top, we have bergamot. In the mid, we have lavender. And in the base, we have sandalwood, vetiver, cedar, and ambergris. You know, it's kind of sucky looking at this note breakdown because when I look at the actual fragrance, it feels a lot more complex. And there's even some notes here that I don't completely disagree with, or that I don't completely agree with. For instance, that lavender is so soft, it's almost non-existent. It almost just creates a fresh top for this fragrance. I don't get that purple note. You know what I'm saying? Like, for lack of better words, you guys know when you've smelled real lavender, it's this kind of, it's almost like a cousin to iris. It can have a powder to it. It's soft. It's a little bit sweet. This fragrance, to me, is far from sweet. Like, on a sweet scale, it's like 2 out of 10. But I do get maybe some of the powdery touches from this and even kind of the fresh touches that the lavender is providing, but I don't get a distinct lavender note. Even the citrus is very light, less than 5%. It seems like 90% of this fragrance lies in the sandalwood, cedar, vetiver, ambergris. And so close your eyes for a moment and just picture this very woody cedar that is not super sharp, but just kind of captures a slightly zingy wood. And then you get this fresh, spicy overtone on the top of it that kind of warms up on skin. So it's ambery, it's fresh, spicy, and that's just sitting on the cedar. You don't get a ton of sandalwood, you don't get a ton of ambergris, but it does creep through a little bit more than the lavender and the bergamot. And so the girth of this fragrance is certainly fresh, spicy, ambery, cedar, then more ambergris, and then maybe like a 10 to 15% split off of maybe even, I'm being a little conservative, maybe about a 20% splash from bergamot and lavender and ambergris and sandalwood to just brush over the top and just provide the tiniest bit of complexity. It's not insanely complex, but modern fougere in a bottle. And let me just tell you guys this. I love this formulation. It's hyper masculine. I think it's easily a 25 and up fragrance. I'm being gracious by taking it down to 25. I could easily say 30 and up, but I do think younger men aspire to have a classic barbershop fragrance. They just don't want to smell old with it. They need it to smell fresh. They need it to have a little dimension to it. And that's what this provides. So I comfortably say 25 and up, but if you're a daring 20-year-old who wants maybe an expensive classic barbershop feel that's more modern, this is great. Now, a younger guy might say to me, well, hey, the price tag on this is insane. And before I address that, I kind of just want to go through the usual suspects, but I do have a solution for you in that category as well. However, let me say this. Any season, any reason, okay? I think this is special because it can adjust and have a different vibe in cold weather versus warm weather. You're still going to get the same fougere results. I've told you the age range. Sprays on this, I feel like it's a 5 to 10 sprayer just based off of your preference. 5 to 10 sprays won't really vary much in terms of only thing it's going to add or take away is longevity. I think this is a solid performer, 6 to 8 hours out of a fragrance like this. I have smelled test strips that have been a day old that still retain the fragrance. So solid 8 hours of performance for sure. And occasions. This is upscale casual all the way to formal, okay? You could dress this formal. You could be semi-casual, date night, theater, night. I don't know about nightlife as much, but semi-formal day fragrance. Because again, you're just going to smell really masculine. You know, you could go on a date night or something in the evening, but I just think it'll be completely circumstantial. I think nighttime leans itself more towards sweeter fragrances, more floral touched fragrances. And you leave kind of your earthy oriental fougere stuff for daytime use. But as far as the occasion, it can go upscale casual to straight through to formal, in my opinion. Because it's just very clean cut with, you know, herbally, woody, citric, you know what I'm saying? Softened up with floral, that type of vibe. Okay. All of this out of the window, let me just say this, guys. If you spent the money on this fragrance, which I believe, you know, it can retail quite a bit up there, up around the $300 range, all the way down to like $150-ish, $180-ish dollars, give or take with discounters online, all of that. But if you spent your money on this fragrance, you would have money well spent. Let me just say that. However, I must let you guys know that there is another fragrance that came out just shy of 10 years after this fragrance. So this fragrance dropped in 1987. Fragrance that I'm about to mention was dropped in 1998 or 97. So almost like 10 years later, we have a fragrance by the perfumer from the House of Lalique that I think she outright cloned this DNA. almost to a T, and made it even better with its projection and made it a little bit spicier, which I think just ramps up this masculine edge to the fragrance. And that fragrance is Lalique Pour Homme Lion. Okay? You can get this fragrance right now for between $20 and $30 for 100 ml. And by gosh, guys, this is 100%. Let me be technical, just because I feel like if it's above 90%, you can be pretty passionate about your claims. But this is like 95% Bois Du Portugal. I think Bois Du Portugal, every time I wear it, it's special, it's beautiful. But in Lalique, it's ramped up a little more, maybe like 10-15% more on the fresh, spicy amber. And it's just breathtaking, man. Like, Bois Du Portugal is beautiful. It's the original DNA. It's a bit fresher and lighter, but gosh, guys, for 20-30 bucks, this thing makes it nearly impossible for you to buy Creed's Bois Du Portugal unless you just absolutely have to have it. This is not just an alternative, it's dang near a replacement. So, like I said, if you bought Bois Du Portugal, it's money well spent, and you're not going to bat an eye. But if you are somebody who's in a situation where you're trying to save the money, if we talk clones, and again, this isn't from a clone house, this is a designer fragrance, guys. This goes on the list for one of the best, for lack of better words, clone or inspiration fragrances on the market. I mean, anytime you can dead ringer get 95% or higher, you are cream of the crop. Most fragrances sit between the 80 to 90% closeness, or they're just well under that. But this fragrance is elite when it comes to closeness to Bois Du Portugal. So what do? You count your pockets and you make the decision that fits your interests. You may even want to do like I did and go to Neiman Marcus and smell Bois Du Portugal yourself, and see if it just makes sense based off the DNA and how favorable it is to you and how much you plan on using it, whether or not you just want to go with the Lalique fragrance and get 100 ml for a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of the price. Okay, guys, let me know if you've had Bois Du Portugal. I know a lot of people have tried all your usual suspects with Creed, your Silver Mountain Water, your Millesime Imperial, your Aventus, all that. We're going to talk about those fragrances soon. But not a lot of people I hear talking about this one. Well, not this one, but this one. Like, comment, and subscribe. More importantly, turn on that notification bell. I haven't thrown this on all streams, so we're going to do that. Turn on your notification bell, because we're dropping episodes every single day, and we're one of the fastest growing fragrance channels on the web. And let me know if you have this fragrance and where you wear it. I want to get some feedback in the comments here. I know there's not going to be a ton of feedback because a lot of people don't rock this just because it's an expensive fragrance and it's not one of the front runners in terms of name with the Creed lineup, but it's one of the most special in my opinion. I've smelled almost every fragrance in the Creed lineup at this point. You know, the beautiful thing is you can go to Neiman's and try every Creed fragrance ever made. It's out on the shelf, or, you know, it's off the shelf and out available for test. So anyway, great fragrance here. I call this personally, I call the original a 10 out of 10 fragrance for me. I call the Lalique fragrance a 9 out of 10. It's just truly special. Special DNA, great performance, great price, versatile. It just checks all the boxes for me as a 35-year-old man. Again, I think your younger guys, 25 and down, might call this more of a 8 or 9 fragrance. But if you like masculine, if you like barbershop, if you like beard oils, beard creams, anything in that arena, this is elite, guys. All right, that's enough of my blabbing. This is the Scent Bubble. I hope you guys have a blessed week, and until next time, this was Creed's Bois Du Portugal, and the alternative was Lalique's Pour Homme.